With cold, blunt analysis, cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
Let me go ahead and share with you an email. Okay, most of my listeners know that both of us covered his National Society of Black Physicists conference luncheon speech, where he basically butchered physics and neuroscience, made it pretty clear that he doesn't know anything about either of those fields. But they invited him to be the luncheon speaker at their national conference, which implies that there was no vetting process in place whatsoever. Rashad has no physics background at all, none. And he's, basically been telling people that he's got all these degrees and he's a professor and all that. They're all diploma mills. The universities don't exist. You know the story. So actually, it was you that first contacted them. Why don't you explain what happened?
Oh yeah, what did I do? I just wrote a very short email, right, saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" What did I write? What are you guys doing? Look, this guy's a phony. Um, look at his. What did I write? Did you have it there?
Yeah, basically that. You need to be concerned. You invited him for a speech, but he has sort of blistered the truth throughout. And then I followed up with this.
A lot more detailed.
Yeah. Okay. So I omitted the first sentence because that might give away a little bit too much. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into it. But at any rate, I emailed you recently about. Oh no, it was you emailed him about Rashad Richey's credentials in physics. I'm not going to read this, but you can tell it is very detailed. But I do say, let me state up front, Rashad Richey has no background in physics. Keep in mind, this is going to the luminaries at the National Society of Black Physicists, okay? These are the people who invited him to give the luncheon. This went to the current president, the incoming president, and the professor who sort of like, in my opinion, was the one that invited Rashad in the first place. Okay, and that was a Willie Rockford. Now, I'm not sure about that, but it certainly looks like it. You'll see why here in a moment. But you can see it is really detailed. I provide links to each of my claims. This is long, and it took me quite a while. You got the impression that when you get an email like this, either the person is a total crank, and I don't think I am, or the person's onto something and is wanting to do a very thorough job of it. That's me. Okay. So I get down here, and all this is, here are his claims on LinkedIn. Here's the truth. And each one of those was, here's a claim of a degree. Here's why that degree is from a diploma mill. I show pictures of what the actual site looks like. I provide ample literature to show that his claims are false. All right. So you can see it. I've been at it for a while. Okay. So do you want to see what kind of response I got? Well, okay. I want to be clear. The current president of the National Society responded back rather, I would say, encouragingly. Is that how you would put it?
He seemed to be on board with looking into the background. Yeah.
Right. And he's a noted scientific fraud investigator. He's done a lot of this.
He's an
So
actual scientist. Yeah.
yeah. So he was not like get away from me, whatever, like that. He was like interested. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say about it. We talked in confidence, and I don't divulge confidential discussions. That's all I'm going to say. However, the person who I think invited Rashad Richey in the first place wrote this. Hang on. Mr. Dredd. Hey, wait a minute. It's Dr. Dredd to you, pal. Do not send any additional emails, correspondences to my work, NSBP and or personal email addresses. Any further correspondence will result in legal action. You should
What's
take
he
up
afraid
your.
of? What is he afraid of?
I mean, keep in mind, this is not going to Rashad Richey. This is going to a professor of physics who's associated with the society. And quite frankly, this is the guy I'm almost certain was the one that invited Rashad to do this speech in the first place, right? He was at the luncheon and they thanked him for being there. So this man is connected to the National Society.
So
And he has a National Society email address.
his entire response is essentially this foolishness. This is foolishness. You
Yeah, yeah.
know?
Our investigation of one of the people that you invited to give a speech on quantum physics, for which the person had no understanding, is foolish. And he threatens me with legal action, as in, like, oh my gosh, this man sent me email. I need to sue him for damages. Like, what the hell? I mean, even let's suppose that I was wrong on everything. Well, guess what? I mean, Rashad could sue, but not this guy. How have I heard him any? I'm just telling him, you got totally bamboozled. But this is his response. I'm going to threaten legal action if you continue any of this foolishness. Now, keep in mind here also, he says, do not send any additional email correspondences to my work NSBP or personal email address. So he's telling me that I cannot send any email about this to anybody else at the National Society. This is called a cover up, guys. This is the absolute definition of one. I don't want you to do any investigation, and I don't want you to tell anybody else at the society about any of this stuff.
Well, let's call it attempted cover up.
Okay, attempted cover up.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
we're
know. Is
not
there?
going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're not going to stop this investigation.
No, and especially after we read his dissertation, Rashad Richey's dissertation, you're going to see why we're just emboldened, right? So let's see here. Do I have anything else on this? Oh yeah. So I responded, Dr. Alusei. I can't pronounce Alusei. That's not his real name. It's his real name, but he changed it from his birth name. And I forgot the reason, but it was fine. I mean, it was perfectly honorable. But at any rate, I can't pronounce it. And I said, and this is the current president of the National Society. This is not really Rockwood, the guy who sent me the threatening email. Okay, I take great exception to the threatening email from Dr. Rockwood. While I am amused that he considers my email somehow civilly actionable, I don't find it amusing that he demanded that I not discuss Rashad Richey's luncheon speech with anyone from your organization. That's, I mean, that's what I found to be the most incredible thing that I got there from that email. On what authority can he suppress conversation on such important matters between your organization and the public? You have had ample time to investigate the veracity of my claims, especially given your experience conducting similar background research. I have two questions. I'm not criticizing him, okay? I have two questions, and I'm not criticizing the current president. As the president of NSBP, what is your organization's stance on Rashad Richey's credentials? What is your organization's stance on Dr. Rockwood's response, the threatening email? I am CCing Dr. Roberson for three reasons. He introduced Dr. Richey. He presented Dr. Richey's claims to the conference audience. Dr. Roberson is the incoming president. And he is the incoming president. Okay, I just said that. I am not CCing Dr. Rockwood on this email as I don't want my correspondence to be viewed as provocation. Okay? I'm thinking that I can always send it to him later if I want to, but I'm really careful about this kind of stuff. Okay, so that ends it. I never got an answer to those two questions. And then there was an attempt to talk to me, but I'm not going to go there. All right. Let's just say that the conversation has kind of dwindled off at this point. We have some comments in the section here. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson wasn't available, and we were desperate to put a black business guy on the stage. Okay, not going there. Um, okay, I was pretty close. Oh boy. Let's see here. Also, I hope you replied back with a lengthy email because this dude is obviously as dumb as Richie to think you emailing him has any legal recourse. Yeah, that is pretty stupid. I mean, look at this way. You get an email like that. If you're connected with a society, you let their lawyers handle it. You don't respond back with threats. So yeah, that was really dumb. And obviously he was trying to scare me away. Didn't work. Let's see here. I'd say it's 80-20 that this guy wasn't fooled, but didn't care because Richie checked the box he wanted checked. You know what the box was, I think? Money. My gut feeling is, and um, this is conjecture, but Rashad Richey was paid fairly handsomely for this speech, and the normal vetting process was skirted. It was really Rockford's friend. And I have a feeling that, well, I have no proof of it, but for some reason, he seems to be extremely defensive over the decision to bring Rashad Richey in as speaker. What do you think? Anything?
I, yeah, I think. Well, I think Rashad paid them. I think Rashad paid them. As, it's a reasonable explanation, because they were warned, after the speech, and then after they had been warned about Rashad Richey and his lack of physics credentials, they put up the video of him and they disabled the comments. So, sounds like they had a contract to fulfill.
That's a good point. They did post his video, and it was the only video they posted that had no comments. Right? Do I have that right?
Well, the whole video series of the conference, but all the other videos didn't have their comments disabled on
Right.
their YouTube channel. It was only this one, and only after we informed them, or you did, that something's wrong with Rashad Richey. And
Mhm.
frankly, he had absolutely. I mean, they were brilliant scientists there. He had
Yeah.
no place in giving any speech at all there connected to physics. Anyway, if he wanted to give a inspirational speech of some sort, maybe, but not about physics.
Yeah. I mean, and it would have been tough to even give an inspirational speech because at some point you're thinking, okay, why are you here? This is a physics conference. But okay,
Yeah.
I would have said, okay, they were pretty desperate, but at least there was nothing wrong, right? But no, having him go up there and totally butcher physics. I mean, he claimed that the signal between, well, when you change the wave function, basically what they call collapsing the wave function in a quantum entangled system, that the signal travels instantaneously. Everybody in the audience would have had to have groaned. Everybody knows it's false, but
Yep.
he didn't.
Travel. So
Okay.
essentially, he's saying information can travel faster than the speed of light, which
Mhm.
it is not possible.
That's right.